welcome back to the Growth Vantage Podcast. I'm your host, Garrett Vita. Today I'm super excited to talk about this lesson that is way better than being in the right room. Yes, being in the right room is important, but I found out just recently being at a real estate conference that there was something more powerful, more beneficial for you and your career. Just recently I went to a Real Estate Domination, which is a real estate conference. I know some of you do know that outside the personal development space, I do real estate investing. So specifically, I'm a real estate developer. And so had the fortunate opportunity to hang out with the speakers and learn from them this past weekend during backstage. And I can tell you it was by far the best money I've spent at a conference thus far. I would like to just share with you during this whole session about why it's better to be in closer proximity than being in the right room. Yes, being in the right room is important, but power is in the proximity. There's so much more that when you're closer proximity to those that are way more successful than being in the right room. Yes, you get a lot of great content within being in the right room, but there's something that being in close proximity that magnifies your learning and your relationships. And so I'm going to go over that because I would like to share with you my experience because I know that you can definitely benefit as well. First off, I think the one thing that really disallows people to really get closer proximity to those who we strive to be is money. I know money is something that's not made on trees, that doesn't come easy for everyone, but I would say definitely putting yourself in that comfort zone to really extend yourself for these types of moments are definitely beneficial. I know this ticket was definitely in the thousands, and definitely some people is more than some puppies' mortgages in a month. But I can honestly say just from day one, it has definitely benefited my learning and my future. And I definitely would encourage you to actually do so the same. So during this conference, the speakers had their own green room, and I had a fortunate opportunity to be there back there with them. One of the reasons why I think really being close proximity is way, way much better than being in the right room is that you're able to build relationships with the best. During downtime, before speakers go up and after speakers are done with speaking, they're in the back green room with them. Since there's not that many people back there with them, you have the obvious answer of being able to build a relationship with them. My goal coming into the conference was to build a relationship with one of them, meaning that my objective was I would know that I accomplished my mission if throughout the conference they would know my name. And I was so grateful to be able to accomplish that. So, first thing is that you have this opportunity to build a relationship with them. Time is limited for everyone, and so especially for the higher level and very successful, their time is very limited. So I did want to make use of this time and building that relationship with them. For me, investing that money into this relationship would definitely be worth it in the future. I think it's just a matter of consistency as well. You keep showing up to the same places as them, they're going to start to get to know you more and start to know you more. And for me, investing that thousands of dollars for this conference was definitely worth it. Second thing I learned is that since you're in this space with them and you're building a relationship, you can learn and ask them questions directly. Quite obviously, since there's not that many people in the room. Yes, being in the crowd, being in the right room is great, but this is where you get to really tailor your learning and really pick their brains that is specifically for you. We are all on our own journeys, and this is a great time for you to really pick their brains and see how from their experience can really benefit you. And it was so nice to really just pick their brains and learn the questions and really understand where they're coming from. So my goal for the questions during this conference was really to understand how they process things, how they build relationships, and how they ask questions, and really how are they behaving that I can really take away from. Really understanding, various aspects of how they think and what they do is pretty much the goal of what I was trying to achieve. It was nice to really get to know them as well. Some questions I did ask were just to get to know them. At the end of the day, we're here to learn from them as well as to build relationships, and building relationships comes from asking questions about themselves. And so it's nice to hear their stories, to see where they came from, stuff like that. And last but not least, You also get to listen and identify the behaviors of the best. While you're in this room with these successful people, it's so cool to see how they interact with each other. Not all the speakers know each other, and that encounter that they in that green room might have been the first time. It's so nice to see how they interact with each other and really just the general energy of the entire room. I know I got being like in that room. It's so nice to, from my experience, seeing when Tom Billy came into the room. It was so cool to see how the different speakers look up to him and were trying to ask him questions as well, and to see that dynamic of how they structure their questions, why they ask those kind of questions. And one thing I learned from when Jen got to the approach Tom was really how intentional she was about her questions. Later on, Jen goes to talk about how she's always looked up to Tom, and she came in knowing what kind of questions she wanted from him so that she can benefit from the future. And she asked him questions about how he perceives what's going to happen in for the future. Once she asked this question, I thought this was so huge because it's so there's always someone in front of us, and so it's always good to see what lays ahead and to see how they are thinking ahead, so that we can pick and learn from that and apply it to ourselves. So a few things to remember is that proximity is power because you're able to build relationships with the best, you get to learn to ask questions with the best, and you get to listen and identify behaviors of the best. So go ahead and write a few ways you can get closer proximity to those who you strive to be. I think for me, this whole weekend has been such a great experience being able to build relationships, to learn from them, and just to be around them. Because at the end of the day, they're humans too, and they really want the best for others. And I definitely got the sense of that from all the speakers, how open and willing they are to share what they have. And they're just good people as well, Many times we tend to put this barrier between us and the successful, but when in reality, they're just like us, same blood, same skin, etc., etc. And I think the biggest thing I got from this is that once I got there, I realized that being successful at that stage is definitely doable, and I definitely deserve it. And so I know you deserve it as well. And that's why I wanted to share this lesson with you, so that you can really know that you deserve the best as well. Thanks so much for listening. I'll talk to you guys next time.